Greetings, Gman faithful. What is going on out there? A lot of people all fired up out there in Eagles land, in NFC East land, because I cover all of it. I love my boys. I love my Eagles, but I cover it all. Today, we're going to take a little break from the NFL, and we are going to jump in to 2016 college wide receiver draft, and we're going to see who the top 10 wide receivers are coming out of the draft in 2016 and who should go where. Now, this is not exactly I wish this were better because there's not exactly a great number of guys that are coming out, and you're going to be sitting there saying, wow, this is, Amari Cooper's and the Sammy Watkins, and like that year a couple years ago where we had just a plethora of great wide receivers down the list. You were getting Dorial Green Beckham. I think that was last year, 2013. You were getting him at like bargain basement price. So, you were low. So here's the thing. Now, last year, decent receivers. But, if I bring it to my boys in Philly, hey, man, Nelson Aguilar, it's like 9 weeks in. I haven't seen squat. I think I saw one catch from that dude that was like average. That's about it. Amari Cooper is the real deal. Sammy Watkins is the real deal. There's some bust potential in this year's draft. Now, I got to have a shout out to my boy Craig. Yo, Craig, this is for you. Shout out to you. I know you love your boy Corey Coleman from Baylor because he's got those 20 touchdowns. I don't know what happened this week with, the game against Navy and the loss. Boykin throwing four picks is going to crush. That's it. That season, as far as trying to win, a bowl and get into the playoffs, that's it. Trying to win the championship, they're done. Another team that also kind of, blew it was Memphis with Paxton Lynch also having a bad one. So they're out. Now, let's jump in and talk about college wide receivers because everybody knows it's the diva area of the NFL. So, when we look at that, let's jump in. Now, number one guy, now I know my boy Craig thinks that Corey Coleman, I got him rated 3. I got number 1, Josh Doctson from TCU, the Horned Frogs, throwing, catching balls from Boykin because he's having a fantastic season. He's got 14 touchdowns, 1,315 yards, 78 catches. He's averaging 17. I know Coleman's averaging 20 yards a catch and 20 TDs. The reason why I'm going to go with Doctson is because he just has more catches. And so he gets targeted more, and he's making the catches. He's also a bigger dude. Doxson's like 6'3", 200. Coleman's about 5'11". Not saying 5'11 guys can't get it done because they can. I like my receivers to be a little bit bigger because teams are going to bigger D-backs. So Josh Doctson be number 1. That's a guy I think is going to go high in the draft this year. So that's my number 1 guy. Corey Coleman is, the dude, there's not a whole, the problem. Corey Coleman probably one of the faster guys in this draft, but there's not a lot of speed, just flat out 40 speed in this draft. Like there's good players, there's like quickness, but it's not that speed. There's not that Amari Cooper. There's not that Sammy Watkins just blazing speed. Deshaun Jackson blazing speed. I gotta have that. I mean, the next guy down on the list, I would be Roger Lewis. I think Lewis is a good receiver. 64 catches, 1,224 yards. I'm just making sure I have my numbers correct. The dude is his long is 94 yards down the field. That's like the whole field. So the guy's got 12 touchdowns. The guy has a 19.1 percentage as far as what he catches. So that's a pretty good number compared to what we got with Doctson, which is 16.9 yards per completion. I'm gonna just take that with a grain of salt. He has less catches, but hey, 94 yards. The dude took one to the logo. Almost the entire length of the field. So that's my number 2 guy. Number 3, Corey Coleman. Now, I know that's my boy Craig's pick. Baylor. Now, let's go into his numbers. 58 catches, 1,178 yards, 20 yards a catch, long of 81, and 20 touchdowns. Yeah, you can't beat that. I agree. You can't beat that. 5'11", like a $195. So you're right. You can't beat that. I think that's good production. His speed, not bad. I think I'm not saying he's not the guy that I think has bust potential. I think that's Treadwell when we get there. I don't think Treadwell brings you much in the way of speed. I think he's a very Jordan Matthews type guy. I'm going to compare Treadwell from Mississippi to Jordan Matthews, but I like Corey Coleman. I think he's good. I think his numbers speak for themselves. On a team that does throw the ball. Now, I know that the Baylor quarterback is out for a while, but the new guy's in is chucking and ducking. So, yeah, I mean, Coleman, yeah, he's going to be one of the top guys. That's why I got him at number 3. But, feel free, Craig, let me know what you think about that. Doxson at 1. Let me know what you think about Coleman at 3. We're not talking free agents here, by the way. We'll have a segment on that later when we get closer. This is just the draft in the season. We're talking in-season play right now. Late in November, late in the college season, because college football is where it's at. Give you guys a little pow, right? I love college ball. So, let's move on to our next boy. Love his name. His name is not plain, and neither is his game. Juju Smith. Schuster. Wide receiver. Now, I don't know. I'm always a little questionable from these wide receivers from USC because Nelson Aguilar, USC. The original Mike Williams, USC. I'm scratching my head over all these guys. I mean, like, Steve Smith is the best guy I can think of. There's so much bust potential that comes out of USC, I can't figure it out. Even on the defensive side of the ball, Taylor Mays, bust. Dude was fucking big as a house, could run, jump, all that shit. Nothing. So USC I take with a grain of salt because I don't know. There's something going on with USC. I mean, Cody Kessler, good, but if you guys notice in my college football quarterbacks, I think he's good. The guy I think is going to be the man is going to be Boykin, and then I think behind him is Paxton Lynch and Dak Prescott are your quarterbacks. USC, I don't know. Cody Kessler's is Cody Kessler Sanchez in waiting? That's kind of what I'm wondering. So Juju might have the coolest name. Here's his numbers: 60 receptions up to this point, 1,000 yards, 1,094 yards, 18.2 per catch, 75 long, and 9 TDs. Not bad numbers. I mean, that dude by any stretch, that's some damn good numbers. It just depends on when I look at Juju, I just think, and I looked at tape, and I've seen him play, and I feel like Nelson Aguilar had similar numbers, and he's just disappeared. Now, he's a rookie, so we're obviously got to give him a little time, but, I mean, Jordan Matthews came into the Eagles and played great in his rookie year. You got some guys up in New York, Odell Beckham, great in his rookie year from LSU. Ruben Randall, LSU, played great, rookie year and beyond. There's some great receivers that come in that rookie year, and they do well. So, I don't know. I mean, Amari Cooper having a good, rookie season. Sammy Watkins had a good rookie season. I ain't seeing it. This would be the guy that I think has some potential, but there is a high bust potential. Pow! There's that high bust potential. Now, Taywin Taylor. All right? Now, Taylor, I'm going to say there's some bust potential here too. Because this is a guy that I could see, not bad numbers, 65 receptions, 1,044 yards, 16 yards per, 78 long, and 13 touchdowns. Good numbers, bust potential because of the division he's playing in, the conference he's playing in, and his quarterback. The next guy that has bust potential, Tajae Sharp, UMass. What else more do I got to say? His numbers are fine. I mean, 95 receptions, 1,033 yards, 11 yards per, 45 is his long, but he has 4 touchdowns. To me, there's a high bust potential there. But if, hey, you got to take this as a grain of salt. The 3 guys I don't think that there's going to be bust potential on is Doxson, Corey Coleman, and Lewis. I think they're not bust potential. Trent Taylor, our next guy, wide receiver. Again, 75 receptions, 1,019 yards, 13 per, 63 long, and 7 TDs. Now, good. Not the greatest size. I need some size out of my receivers. And that's the reason why I go with Doxson at number 1. Coleman is not the biggest dude, but he's probably the fastest dude. So that's why he gets number 3. Now, when you're at Ole Miss, Treadwell, his numbers are 68, by the way, for 1,000, 14.7 yards per catch, 58 as his long, and 7 touchdowns. That's in the SEC. That's good. Now, yeah, I dog him sometimes because he's kind of like Jordan Matthews. But if I can get a Treadwell who can catch the ball and not fucking drop it, which that's what he does, I think Treadwell might move up a little bit in the draft. And so pay attention to him as we get close to the draft. I think Treadwell is that guy that's going to move up a little bit. Not as high as Doxson. I think that's probably a top guy. Coleman, top guys. But keep your eye on a guy like Treadwell. That's a guy that can move up. Then, I'm just going to bring up the final 2 guys. Daniel Braverman, 85 catches, about 1,000 yards, 11 per, 64 is his long, and 11 touchdowns. Not bad numbers. This is, you're kind of, at this point now, you're at number 9. You're decent. You get decent quality now. You get good value at these numbers. And then the last guy, Kiara Garrett, I think is good from Tulsa. Again, not the greatest conference, but decent numbers. 65 catches, 1,000 yards, 16 yards per, 50 long, and 5 touchdowns. I think these are your top 10 guys. So these are your top 10 guys to look for in the draft. Now, if you're a team that needs a receiver, Eagles, you need a receiver. Giants don't need receivers. Redskins need receivers. You're looking probably Giants don't need receivers. Cowboys probably don't need receivers. Eagles probably and the Redskins probably do. You look down the NFC, and you're probably looking at teams like, you're probably looking at Minnesota, Detroit probably could use another one. Chicago. I mean, they're going to lose, some players. So I think there's some teams that are going to grab these guys, especially those top 4 or 5. And Juju, is going to be in the receiver class. He's going to be one of the higher guys, along with Taylor. But I think below Coleman and Doxson. So that'll do it here. For the receiver class of 2016. Anybody have any thing they want to add? Go ahead and put it in the comments below. I'll be doing another college one. We'll be doing running backs coming out of college. And then after that, we did offensive linemen, wide receivers, quarterbacks. We'll have running backs, and then we're going to jump to the defensive side, talk about linebackers and O-linemen. By the way, I just want to throw a little shout-out to another offensive lineman that I think is actually going to go pretty good. LSU's center, 6'7" center. You don't find too many of them. That's a guy to keep your eye on. By the way, that goes right to the Eagles. You need a fucking center who's big. There's your boy. All right. It's time to get real here. Little centers like Kelsey, gone. I need guys that are big and can move, and that dude can move. So that does it here. Again, anything you guys want to know, anything you want to add, put it in the comments below. And if you like what you see and you want to see more, click right here to see more. Get ready for it. Pow!